All right, in this chapter, we're going to be talking about leads. In a previous chapter, we talked about lead settings and configurations. We have it all set up, but now we're actually ready to start processing leads. You'll find leads under customers and leads module. If you have the right permissions, you'll see the leads tile. You can notice it's letting me know I have an actual new lead I need to address by the red flag here, so keep an eye out for that. To access the leads, we'll click the tile. It'll bring us to the leads page where I can search by a number of different parameters, by ad sources, date ranges, who it's been assigned to, lead status. You can see all those options up here. And we can see here, I have a status of a new lead. Now, leads, one of the benefits of using DX1 and end-to-end product is we're able to funnel leads in if set up properly to come into DX1. So again, if you're using that functionality, those will automatically show here as they come through your web and internet leads and other sources. To add a new lead on this page, we'll go ahead and click the plus add button. We'll decide what type of lead source it is. In this case, let's do a phone lead. We'll walk through the process. We say okay. Here it's going to ask us to look for a customer. So we'll look for myself here somewhere in here. Let's see what we got for customers. We add the customer in here. And now we're going to enter in details about the lead. This information will be default for most cases. You won't have to touch that other than the assigned to. In this case, this is how you can say who this lead is going to go to. If I'm adding in the lead myself, there's a good chance I'm going to put myself as the lead who it's assigned to. A media type, how did you hear about us? Oh, I saw you out on the Highway 52 billboard and it made me think of you all. We also have the components of what's the unit of interest? What are they here looking for? So we can go and we can search our inventory. So you can see up here we have different types. We have models and inventory. If the model we're looking for is in inventory, I could select it here. If I'm looking for something that I don't have in inventory, I would select models, filter by the year, come in and look for a model from this side of things. Okay. In this case, for the example, let's use an inventory item. Let's go ahead and check the EV Titan here. We can add it to our unit of interest. Also, we know that this customer has purchased from us before and they're interested in trading in their previous vehicle, so we can add a trade. You'll see a list of units from the customer's garage. I'll select the one I'm looking for, click save, and now you can see I have the unit of interest and the trade-in vehicle, if applicable, added to my lead. Once I have these kind of four basic things set up, we'll go ahead and we'll click save. And what this is doing now is turning it into the actual lead that can be tracked. Now, you might have noticed once I hit save, it's actually moved me over to the customer record. Just to give you a sense of where we're at, again, if we opened up a customer record to see details, we'd land on the general information screen. What it took us to was working sales. So you can see here, even when I have a lead built in, it's under the customer's record, so I can find it there as well. Now, other components of the lead that we'll look at is maybe we need to edit some customer information. We can do that by clicking the pencil. It'll take us up to general information since we're in the customer record, and I could go ahead and update whatever I need. I can also go down and change a lead assignment. Maybe, this is a lead that came in via the web. We do have a round robin system, but it's maybe somebody already talked to or bound to a customer. I could change a lead assignment, add a co-buyer. I can change statuses, do different things. I can say whether the status was lost, transmitted, bad, good, duplicated, whatever the reason may be. I can also see here that I can look at an event history, so I can see different things that have happened during the process. So some pretty handy tools up there. Also within the lead, we have what we call the road to sell, and this is not required, but this is a great tool that lets you kind of help teach people or track what part of the process the lead is in. For example, we used a phone sell, so I could check that I did a proper greeting, I confirmed their information, that initial contact was done. I gave the caller my information and how to get to the dealership, which they're going to do. They want to come down and look at this unit, so I could hit save. And now you notice that the first step has turned green, and that's how I can know, I've done that first part. So the customer's on their way down. I can also say that I've set an appointment for that. And now we know the appointment is not completed yet, but we can hit save and it's yellow. Okay, so then our appointment shows up. Again, I can hit that, saved. Now, whether the appointment was completed or not, we might leave that unchecked. Again, if we do, it's still green. And then we're going to go on to the next checklist, which is the visit. So they're here for the appointment. We did the meet and greet. We took a test drive. We got all our facts done. And our vehicle selection is definitely the unit that they had in their unit of interest. We can hit save there. Again, moves us on. The next spot, we're going to say, okay, now we got the vehicle. We're talking about how they're going to purchase it. Maybe they're going to finance it. We can say we did the credit check. We've definitely qualified them, and we can hit save. Again, we can see that we're working through the road to sell. We could also come over here and say, everything's looking good. We're going to create a quote. We got a scheduled delivery. We're going to complete this sale. We're going to deliver it. I can check those boxes, and I can also say create a quote. From here, I can decide if the salesperson is the same person assigned to the lead, the unit of interest. I could add additional units at this point if I wanted to, set up some basic information, pick if we're going to have a trade in, which we are, set up some of the details here. It has maybe 10 miles on it, etc. Once we do that, I can hit save. And now we've automatically created the quote in DX1. We don't have to go over, click a new deal, add the customer, go find the unit, go add the trade. As you can see, we've moved ourselves straight to a quote. Now, we got the quote in there. If we want to go back and look at the updated status of our leads, we can go in. Again, we can see the status of the work we just done. We can see here that the quote has been created. They've been qualified. Now, we still see that we have an open lead because we have a new lead. So let's talk just about a little bit of, how to close a lead or remove a lead that doesn't happen. Probably one of the quickest ways, like I said, you can do it is you can open it up and you could come in and you could do the status of it and say this is a lead we lost and they bought elsewhere, or we could not finance, or one of those reasons. You could definitely set it that way. You can also go straight from in the lead itself, and you can see here we can mark the B as closed as bad, or we could mark the lead as closed as lost. If we do that, we can simply click it and you can see it's been removed from our list. So there's a lot of great tools within the lead process, within the leads themselves. Make sure that you're working through this process. One of the other things you can do is print the lead list. So if you want to have those, so people, not every salesman or not every user has access to every part of the system. So as a manager, you may want to print these out and hand them to your salesman out as a hard copy, something along those lines. And then we also have want list reports that, when you build them and start using them in the system, you can see over time what people were looking for on those things that were lost or closed or one reason or another. So you can always go back and kind of mine those leads that you've closed out. So, well, I hope this chapter has helped you understand a little bit about the basics of leads, where to find them, how to access them, how to create them, and how they're linked up to a customer and can eventually be turned into a quote.